Greetings, everyone, and welcome to another Our World of Stories story time. So, this morning we're going to be moving on to another kind of story from our Arne Thompson Uther or ATU index, which categorizes fairy tales from all over the world. So, today the category that we're going to be working with is 425. Sounds pretty exciting, right? So, this category is a pretty big one in the index, and it has to do with animals and husbands or the lost husband. So, our classic story for today is going to be Beauty and the Beast. Now, the story that we commonly tell in the United States is again based on the Disney movie. So we have a beautiful girl named Belle whose father goes traveling and comes upon a castle hidden in the woods. Inside, he meets a horrible beast that tries to hold him prisoner. But Belle, missing her father, comes to the castle and finds him and then switches places because she has a beautiful heart too. So then, as Belle and the Beast live in the castle together, he saves her life, he gives her a library, and she comes to realize that even though he looks like a beast, he has a good heart as well, and she falls in love with him. But she doesn't realize it until she goes to find her father, who she sees in the Beast's magic mirror, is very sick and looking for her in the woods. So she goes to try to help her father get better, where the townspeople then trap Belle and say that they're going to go kill the beast because how could this beast exist in their woods and they can still be safe? So then the townspeople go to the beast castle. He's horribly wounded by Gaston, the villain who wants to marry Belle. And Belle finds the beast when he's about to die. And she admits to him that she loves him. And then the magic spell is broken. And the beast turns into a handsome prince. And Belle and the beast, or the prince, live happily ever in now the beautiful castle. And everyone is welcome. So that's the story that we commonly think of in the United States. But today we're going to be going back basically to the original. So we're going to be traveling halfway across the world. And today we're going to be going to Russia, where the story of the Scarlet Flower is the classic version. So to help us get in the mood, let's get our atmosphere ready. Are you ready? Can you count with me? Let's do 3, 2, 1. Mother Russia. So let's enjoy our story. By the Russian title, it is The Scarlet Flower, but today we're reading a version from the library's catalog, just called Beauty and the Beast. Once upon a time, there was a very rich merchant. He had 3 handsome sons and 3 beautiful daughters. The youngest daughter was the most beautiful. Everyone called her Beauty, which made her sisters very jealous. But Beauty, who was kind as she was beautiful, tried not to mind. Then one day, the family's house caught fire and burned to the ground. And soon after, the merchant found out that all of his ships had been stolen by pirates. Beauty's family was suddenly very poor, so they had to leave the city and move to their small country cottage, which was deep in a dark forest. It was very lonely in the forest. Beauty did all she could to make the best of things. She helped her father cut wood, she grew vegetables and made her own clothes. Her brothers worked hard too, but her sisters only complained. One day, a message came for Beauty's father. "One of your stolen ships has been found," the message said. "You and your partners must come to the city to collect your fortune." "Hooray, we're rich again!" cried the older sisters. "Thank goodness," said the father. "What presents would you like me to bring you from the city?" "Dresses," cried one sister. "Jewels," cried the other. Beauty said nothing. "And you, Beauty, what shall I bring you?" said her father. "Nothing, father. Just come back safely." "Oh, she makes me sick," one of her sisters said behind her back. please, Beauty, you must choose something, said her father. A rose, then, father? She said. I haven't seen a rose since we moved to the forest. A rose? Ha! What an idiot, her sister said. But Beauty's father said he would gladly bring her a rose if that was what she wanted. Then he kissed his family goodbye and started off on the long journey. When the merchant arrived in the city, he found that his partners had arrived before him. They had taken the whole fortune and left him nothing. He was still poor. In sad spirits, he started back. On the way home, the merchant got lost in a large forest. It began to sleet and snow. The wind blew hard. The merchant was about to freeze to death when he saw a light in the distance. He rode toward the light, and suddenly the snow and sleet stopped. The woods were green and filled with flowers. Birds of every color sang in the bright sunlight. At the end of the path, the merchant came upon a great castle surrounded by beautiful gardens. In the stable, he found oats to feed his horse. What else do you think he'll find in the castle? Then he walked up to the door of the castle and stepped inside. No one was home. In one room, though, a fire was burning and dinner was laid out on the table. The merchant ate dinner and then went to bed. The next morning, he found breakfast laid out on the table, but still no one seemed to be about. The merchant ate the breakfast, then he went out to feed his horse. On his way to the stable, he passed through the garden of the castle. He saw a beautiful rose bush. Oh, at least Beauty will get her rose, he said, and he plucked one beautiful red rose. Ah! A horrible-looking beast stepped out from behind the rose bush. What are you doing, stealing my rose? The beast yelled. The merchant had never seen such a creature before. He shouted with horror and fell to his knees. Tell me, what are you doing, stealing my roses? Yelled the beast again. My roses are my prized possession. Oh, I'm sorry. Forgive me, cried the poor man. I won't forgive you, roared the beast. You will die for this. Oh, please no, cried the merchant. I only wanted one rose for my youngest daughter. You have daughters? Asked the beast. Oh, yes. Oh, 3. Oh, please don't kill me for their sake, said the merchant. I won't kill you on one condition, said the beast. You must give me one of your daughters. She must come to stay with me of her own free will. If none of them comes before the month is over, you must come back yourself. If you don't, I will find you and kill you. You can never escape from me. Oh. All right, said the merchant. May I go now? Yes, said the beast. Take this rose and trunk filled with riches, and ride my horse. When one of your daughters is ready to come live with me, the horse will bring her back here. Who do you think will agree? The merchant did not really believe any of his daughters would want to live with the beast, but he was anxious to get away. So he filled a trunk with gold and silver and climbed onto the beast's horse, and instantly he was home. Beauty hugged her father and kissed him, and her sisters tore open the trunk. I have a sad story to tell all of you, the father said, and he told his children about his stolen fortune. He told them about the snowstorm and the castle and the beast. So, Beauty, he said, here is your rose. I'm afraid it cost me a great deal. One of Beauty's sisters grabbed the rose and hit Beauty with it. Your stupid rose will kill our father, she screamed. You murderer, shrieked the other sister. Beauty wept with shame. Didn't mean to cause harm, but since it was my fault, let me be the one to go back to the beast, she said. Oh, no, said her father. "I must go, father," she said. "The beast will find you and kill you if I don't." Beauty's father and brothers tried to talk her out of going, but Beauty was certain her father would be killed if she didn't go live with the beast. So one night, when everyone was asleep, she climbed onto the beast's horse. At once, Beauty found herself in a cool green forest in front of a great castle. The trees were lit with 1,000 lights, and the air smelled of roses. Inside the castle, a fire was burning, and dinner was laid out on the table. Beauty ate dinner and then fell asleep. The next day, Beauty wandered the castle. She found a library that contained all the books ever written. And she found a music room that was filled with wonderful instruments and with singing birds. When Beauty went back to her room, she found the table laid out with dinner. But just as Beauty sat down to eat, she heard a terrible roar. The beast entered the room. Beauty screamed and hid her face. "Excuse me," the beast said. "Don't be frightened. I only want to sit with you while you eat. Do you wish me to leave?" "You are the master," whispered Beauty. "No, you are in charge of my castle," said the beast. "I am only an ugly monster." The beast sat with Beauty while she ate. Then he got up and said, "Good night, Beauty. Sleep well." And he left the room. The next day, Beauty wandered about the castle again. She read books and played music. She did not see the beast until dinner time. Then he sat with her again. This time, he talked with her about his favorite things: his roses, his books, his singing birds, and his musical instruments. He was very kind, and Beauty was not as frightened of him as she had been the night before. After she finished eating, the beast said, "Good night, Beauty. Sleep well." And he left the room. The beast came night after night to visit Beauty, and she began to look forward to his visits, for her days were lonely and she liked talking with him. One night she said, "I love your company, beast." "How could you?" he said. "Can't you see I'm an ugly monster?" "No, you are not a monster, beast. Many men are far worse monsters than you, for you have a beautiful heart." "Then will you marry me, Beauty?" the beast asked gently. "Oh no, beast, I couldn't marry you," Beauty said. The beast covered his face and let out the saddest moan in the world. Beauty felt sad too, but she still could not bring herself to marry the beast. From then on, every night after dinner, the beast asked Beauty to marry him, and night after night, she said no. The beast grew sadder each time Beauty said she couldn't marry him. And one night Beauty dreamed of her father. Her dream made her miss him so very much. When the beast came to see her that night, she wept. "Oh, beast, I miss my father so much," she sobbed. "I wish I could see him again." "I will die of grief if you leave me, Beauty," said the beast. "Oh, please, beast, just let me go for a visit. I promise I'll come back in a week." "Well, since you promised to return in a week, I'll give you this ring," the beast said. "When you put it on, you'll find yourself at home. In 1 week, put it on your finger again, and you will instantly be back at my castle." "Oh, thank you, beast. You are very kind," said Beauty. "Remember, Beauty, if you don't come back in a week, I will die," the beast said. "Don't worry, beast. I'll come back," she said. Then Beauty put on the magic ring, and she was home again. Beauty's father and brothers were overjoyed to see her. When she told them that she must return in a week, they begged her to stay with them. Beauty enjoyed being with her family so much that when the week was over, she decided to stay one more day. When that day was over, she decided to stay just one more day. But that night, Beauty had a dream about the beast. In her dream, she saw he was dying. Beauty was so upset she couldn't sleep the rest of the night. At dawn, Beauty crept into her father's room. "Father, the beast is dying," she said. "I have to go back to him. I broke my promise. He's very kind, father. I don't want him to die. Then go, Beauty, said her father. If you care so much for him, return to him. Beauty kissed her father goodbye and promised she'd return soon to visit him. Then she put on the magic ring and she found herself back at the castle. Beauty ran through the castle calling for the beast, but she couldn't find him anywhere. Finally, she ran out to the garden and found him lying near his rose bushes. The beast's eyes were closed and he wasn't breathing. Beauty hugged him and sobbed, "Oh, beast, don't die. Please don't die. I love you, beast. I'll marry you. I'll stay with you forever. Please don't die." The beast opened his eyes as Beauty kissed him. Suddenly, Beauty found a prince in her arms. "A fairy once put a spell on me and turned me into the beast," the prince said. "The spell could only be broken if someone loved me enough to marry me, even though I looked like a beast." So Beauty and the prince had a huge wedding. Beauty's whole family was invited, and everyone had a wonderful time, even her two grouchy older sisters. And that is the end of this version of Beauty and the Beast, or the title in Russia, The Scarlet Flower. So there were some things that were basically exactly the same, or you could see how the Disney movie got the idea, the inspiration from this story. But there were also some things that were pretty different. So just like last week, we want to hear what you noticed that was different between The Scarlet Flower and Beauty and the Beast as we normally tell it in the United States. So in the comments, share one or two things that you noticed that were different to earn a secret code worth 30 bonus points for our summer reading program. And feel free to share your favorite part of this story and what other stories you'd like to hear from around the world. So we've got some pretty good ones lined up, but we're always open for new ideas. So we hope that you enjoyed our trip to Russia today, and we hope that we'll see you next week for a new double story as we continue exploring the world and all of the stories in it, or some of the stories in it. So have a great day, everyone, and thanks for joining us for another episode of Our World of Stories.